rabble rousers. Welcome back to Rebellion Reborn. You, of course, are listening to Primatech Files, which is a Southgate Media Group podcast dedicated to all things Heroes and Heroes Reborn related. I am Lilith, and joining me, as always, is...
I've got my glasses on. I've got my notes on font 12. I've got my walking stick. It's old man Ricky. What up?
Not to be confused with old man Logan.
Definitely not.
Up for discussion today is episode 111, Send in the Clones. I thought it was a strong start.
I actually really enjoyed it. Upon the second watch, I just felt it was layered very well with Easter eggs and like little seeds that had been planted in episodes previous. And when people started bringing up connections, it didn't feel kind of like forced. It felt very natural in some of the areas anyway. So yeah.
Oh, so not Kirby Plaza is what you're saying.
Yeah, exactly. What did you think of the title, Send in the Clones?
So obviously, without a doubt, we knew this was going to be a Harris-heavy episode. I had no idea that he was going to kick the bucket in like true Mortal Kombat fashion.
I know, right? At 8 o'clock on a Thursday night.
That's exactly what Graham said.
I know, right? But it's true. It was, I wouldn't say shocking, but...
It was building up to that between those two. And that was such an epic climax for the two of those characters.
Definitely, yeah. And people died, hopefully. They won't come back. You know, obviously we'll kind of probably see Miko again. Real Miko. So, yeah.
Exactly. We'll get into that. So, yeah, lots to discuss. So, let's just jump right in. This episode was directed by Larissa...
Kondraki,
sure. And it was written by Peter Elkoff, and I believe Ricky has a synopsis for us. It's very wordy, so bear with us.
At Sunstone Manor, in the midst of an assault by the Harris army, Farah and Carlos search for Carlos's friends while Renee and Taylor confront Matt Partman. Matt learns that he is not on Erica's list of people to save. Meanwhile, Tommy, guided by the Ninth Wonder comic, sends Katana Girl to Sunstone Manor, though she is slowly disappearing from reality. Matt finds out that Taylor is pregnant and that he thinks he now has leverage over Erica. Melina and Luke are stopped by Harris and the Frades, and Luke knocks out Phoebe, tortures Harris, and talks Quentin down, capturing the siblings. At the Gateway Community Center in Odessa, Erica reunites Tommy with Emily and his mother. Quentin tells Melina about Gateway, and Melina stops Luke from killing Phoebe. Father Maurizio is killed, sad face, by a guard, even sadder face. But Carlos rescues Jose and Micah. Harris Prime duels with Katana Girl, who kills him before disappearing for good. Harris's Prime's death destroys all of his clones. Micah explains the approaching threat, then makes a broadcast to the world, exposing Erica's lies and Mahinder's innocence, calling upon Evos and non-Evos to stand together. Erica asks Joanne Collins to kill Melina. As everyone drives to Odessa, the sun releases the first solar flare.
Because there's two! Dun, dun,
right?
Dun! Like, really, dude? Come on.
But they're going to have to stop the first one, because the first one is going to destroy North America. And that's not just America, right? And that's all we really care about.
I'm so embarrassed to be an American for this episode. First, I'm surprised. I guess they couldn't use Walmart, but it was like, hey, we're in Missouri, so we should get you a gun, you 14, 15-year-old girl, you. I'm like, ugh.
What did we get for the rating?
Oh, we had like a 1.0 in the ratings. I'm like, so basically what you're telling me is this should have been on the CW?
Yeah.
And we had like 3.74 million people?
Yeah, it's still hovering around that 3.7 million for the past couple of episodes. So I think they found some stability, but, you know.
If that's what you want to call it.
Yeah.
Honestly, they should have let it be on the CW in the summer, and I think it would have done better. Because, I mean, obviously NBC is its home parent. It has nothing to do with the CW, but it was already going to be, like, because it's a revival series, you know. They could have put it on USA or something like that in the summer. Definitely, this should have been a summer show. I would have waited till this summer for it.
It didn't lose as much viewers as you thought it would coming back from, like, a break. Every cloud has a silver lining hiding behind the solar flare.
So who do you want to start with? Least annoying or most epic?
You choose.
Can we start with the bayest of couples, Carlos and Farah? Oh
Yeah,
my god, they kissed. I was like, well, it almost seemed like they were gonna have a sex scene, and I'm like, I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to it, but this isn't the opportune time for it. But if you're gonna do it, I'm watching.
they're already on the way to decapitating someone, so why not?
So romantic.
I know, right? We start off where in Sunstone Manor, and what Parkman's creepy voices, cult-like leader, just over the PA system,
You are
just
fine.
yeah, I know.
Happy.
But it's weird. Like, how come some people, affected by it, and the guys who are just running around trying to find Micah and find Jose and all that, they're all fine. Like, I don't understand, but
Wait, did it have to do with something in their neck or something like that? Maybe.
I don't think so. When they destroyed the old school tape deck, everyone was fine. Remember, there wasn't like they had to take anything out. The only person who had anything in his neck was Micah. So maybe it's a drug or something. I don't know. Whatever.
Who knows? Convenient plot point is convenient.
Followed up by hashtag heroes logic.
I love Sunstone Manor. This was so good. Like I love how Farah was like, so, blah 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 blah. Oh yeah, and there's a little Asian girl outside taking on an army of heroes clones.
I know, right? Yeah. So they start off at Sunstone, and Taylor explains that they're using Evos to kind of prep for the Armageddon. And that kind of makes sense in the fact that, there's Evos in the future and they're just being harvested for their powers. So, that's what Sunstone was. I think we've said this, but I just want to reiterate the fact that they're just basically picking and choosing the best and what will help them in the future. So, yeah. And then they get their mission. They've got to find some twins, thanks to Farah. Farah tells them, we've got to find these twins who are going to save the world, and they're going to use Micah to do it because, they're already there. Why not?
Because Micah's a boss.
Exactly. I like Farah and Carlos going through like the corridors like soldiers, like they're doing the little hand gestures and stuff like that. I thought it was a nice little world building to just them two in general because they are soldiers. So yeah.
Yeah. Like I was so happy. I was like, okay, so we're gonna have Carlos, we're gonna have Lil Jose, we're gonna have Father Mauricio, we're gonna have Batman, Robin, and Alfred. Really? How you gonna kill Alfred?
Yeah, it was really weird. But they had to kill some people off, and they weren't going to be killing off a little kid. Maybe Micah, because he's not a little kid anymore. But
You hush your mouth. That's sacrilege.
But yeah, while they're on the hunt for Micah and Jose, they find the suit, and the power of the abs come out. We get a little bit of an Easter egg to the comics, and she asks, why are you wearing this luchador costume? And he's like, my grandfather wore it. And he says sometimes you have to stand for something bigger than yourself, even if it means getting your legs broken, which is an allusion to the comic, but that actually hasn't happened yet. And I'm hoping it does because, otherwise it wouldn't be canon. So yeah. And then they move on to Haitian and the Haitian versus Matt again. What did you think about this whole Matt Parkman bit?
To quote Drake, things got 0 to 100 real quick.
All right. But I really, really enjoyed hearing him speak out about why he was a bad guy, or quote unquote bad guy. He talks about having a lot of self-loathing and his family couldn't put up with his self-loathing. And we've talked about that from Heroes Prime so many times. And that's why his family
Janice left him again?
Yeah, definitely.
God. I'm so happy.
And then he brings up the reason for it. And it's just, it's hearing everyone's thoughts, their pity, their misery. And he created a place where he could be appreciated. And then Taylor pipes in with, even though it's not real. And it's just him trying to feel better about himself. That's what Sunstone Manor is. It's a place that he can feel good about himself, never be teased about his weight. And, just have everyone be happy-go-lucky. And he just says, he's making it up to his family. And it's just essentially Parkman. Parkman wants love. That's all he wants, right? That's what I got from it.
Well, resurrect Daphne. There you go. Get on with your miserable little life.
Taylor kind of tells him, you're not going to have a place in the future because, unless you've got a power that can be harvested, it's not going to happen. And then Parkman, subdues Rene by shooting him in the ear, which I really like that he didn't, kill him because that kind of keeps him on that morally grey line. Do you know what I'm saying?
No, they knew better than to try to kill Renee a second time. That's all.
And I like, their little power off, so to speak, at the beginning. And then, he's basically using Taylor as a bargaining chip. And we move on to that nearer the end.
I was just like, I love you, Greg. I love you, Matt. But if you hurt Taylor, we're going to have some problems.
I know, right? And while I was watching it, I saw there was like little silver foxes in his hair,
Yep.
salt and peppers, and but that was like his. That wasn't like just put on. But yeah, I just wanted to bring back the 5 years gone silver fox.
No, no, no. It wasn't even his. He's so dedicated and he was so mad that they didn't do it. He did it himself. That's my headcanon.
Yeah. And then we move on to what I would say is the truth is a Miko. Miko's sent to the present to, basically fight. And we'll talk more about that as we go on to like the future and what goes on, because I've got like a quite a theory about that. But yeah, everyone's now awake, and the Bat family, as we will probably christen them, they're reunited. They find their way into isolation with derp face Micah. Because seriously, he was putting on such a derp face. I loved it. And yeah, it was weird how Carlos was just like trying to break down that glass and just not doing it. Well, all the time he's standing next to Jose, who literally had walked through a wall to get to him. But you've just got to remember that he hasn't told him about his power yet, has he?
He tried to, and then he got captured.
And I like the fact that he doesn't want Carlos to see Father Maurizio dead. Like, he has to move him out the way, tells him to hide, so he can't do it. And then we get Construct versus Harris Part 2, the revenge, I guess. And I really like this fight. Like, it's not as good as like some of the Arrow fights, like very well coordinated, but between, Miko or Kiki, who's got that kind of training, and Harris or Clay, who doesn't really seem to have that much training. I thought it was quite, what they did was really inventive. Like, there's one bit where she uses the spear as like a pole vault and goes into like some lucha libre kind of flying head scissors. And yeah, I really, really enjoyed it.
My favorite part is where Harris Prime tells the clones to stand down. He's like, "This is my battle," and everybody spreads out and like moves out of the way, and he's like marching to his doom. Little did he know.
I know.
And then he calls her out. He's like, "You're not even all here, little girl."
I think if they had the money, they should have had like that kind of Matrix 3 with like everyone, like all the clones just surrounding them while they fight, just like fight, 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 fight.
And then it rains and everybody's in leather.
Exactly. And then, yeah, they basically both disappear after this, with Cloney just laying there, head agape, looking at the camera while his butt cheeks are clenched. Like, I don't know why, because that's like right in the middle of the scene as you watch it, as they come up.
Ricky, you noticed the damnedest things.
Go back and watch it. And then, she says, "I am Katana Girl," and disappears, which I knew that she was Miko and I knew that she was Katana Girl, but I think this episode really pushed the fact that they are two separate entities. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, Tommy calls her Katana Girl, she calls herself Katana Girl, and yeah, I really liked it, even though, it's 11 episodes too late of bashing me over the head with it. So yeah.
Okay, while we're on the subject of just Miko / Katana Girl and Tommy, I'm sorry, Rain, but I kind of shipped them together. They had really good chemistry with that little bit of scene that they had where he shows her the comic book and stuff.
I can see that, but I think it's because at that moment, Tommy is quite like Ren in the fact that, he's got that kind of awe about him, like, "Oh, you're Katana Girl. I've read about you in my comic." And he's like, "I read about you in my game manual." So yeah, that's basically, I think it's just kind of a projection, but maybe.
Speaking of which, did that bus ever show up for Ren?
It did. He got on the bus, but he hasn't arrived at Odessa yet. So yeah. And then at the end of the whole kind of Hero's Truth of Sunstone Manor thing, it ends with Micah revealing the quote unquote hero truth.
We called that though, right? Shapeshifter. Like, duh.
It's not even we called it. Quentin called it, like, in one of the episodes. He's like, "Yeah, you got a shapeshifter."
No, when we first saw it. Remember?
But yeah.
Then they're doing all the commercials. We're just like, yeah, right.
I know, but I like the fact that, they've even referenced it on the show. It just didn't seem like it came out of nowhere, even though, we probably, like most people would have guessed. But yeah, I liked that.
Real twist would have been it was really Mohinder with a gun to the back of his head.
And then they say that there's two solar flares coming, one at 11:18 and one at 11:53. The first will destroy North America and the second will wipe out humanity, which doesn't really make sense, seeing as they are still in North America at 11:53 as per Angela's visions, right? They're under a clock tower.
Yeah, somebody should have paid better attention.
At least it wasn't like the first will destroy Europe.
Honestly, that's what they should have done. No offense.
How dare you? How very, very dare you? Anyway, what did you think about the whole Taylor Parkman thing? Like him walking around with her and kind of violating her thoughts.
It was actually a good plan on his part for the first time in forever.
I
So
know, right?
I'm
Yeah.
here for it. I enjoyed that little, but like you were talking about on Twitter, the night that it aired, it's like, yeah, it's been so many heel face turns.
Definitely. But that's what I like about the show. There's only been a couple who have kind of turned properly, and the rest are kind of on that morally grey line.
Luke.
Yeah, exactly. Like I think I wrote about this just about an hour or two ago, and I talk about how in the beginning of Heroes Prime you had HRG, who was that morally grey character, and they've seemed to gone with like most of their characters in this one being morally grey, and I really appreciate that. I think that's a good kind of storytelling because we're in a new world where it's not just straight up good versus bad.
Yeah, I could see that.
And also, Harris's clones aren't empty like Eli from season 4 because they shoot themselves in the head. So yeah,
Yeah, right? That was pretty like, okay, we'll just gloss over this too.
and we'll gloss over the hashtag rapey bit of Parkman violating Taylor.
Pregnant Taylor on top of that. I mean, oh, heroes, what am I gonna do with you? Anyway, let's get over to this Luke and Melina thing because, like, I just have I don't like Luke and Melina. Like, I'm just gonna say this because it's like their fruition of the Silayer relationship. Like, the thing that they could never do with it was, redeem Silayer right away and then, like, make it plausible for them to be together in the future. Do you know what I mean? That's all I see when I look at the two of them.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you, but I think also I like the fact that they've kind of it's not HRG leading the way. Do you know what I'm saying? It's not him doing everything, and that's something that happened in this episode. No HRG, and they were leaving the new characters, giving them a chance to kind of stand on their own.
And they did, but I still missed him. And I was just like, what the hell? You can't just leave me in suspense about HRG.
Definitely. But yeah, I think it was good because a lot of people will be tuning in next week just being like, oh, where is he? He better
I
be
don't
here.
think he's going to show up till the last episode.
Definitely. Definitely don't think, especially where like the title of next week's episode and what's coming. I don't even think he's going to show up until like the proper finale, as in like 11:53 to Odessa, as in like literally at.
Clock Tower? Yeah, I probably. It would be smart, like, to keep, like, how they strung people along for the hero thing.
Yeah.
Because at this point, they need all the viewers they can get, so.
As long as he doesn't like turn up with like future Tommy and he has to explain everything, I'll be fine.
Oh, you should make the show note, the episode picture, the picture of future Tommy in our Facebook chat.
With his little hipster thing. I will send that over. But yeah, so we start off with Luke and Melina, and I like the fact that Melina right at the beginning says, well, if he got hit by the car, where's his body? They just didn't like gloss over that because, but then she says, I'm not going to go backwards. He wouldn't want me to go backwards. And they concoct the plan, which is they're heading to Midian to find Tommy, and then they're going to go to Odessa from there. And Luke kind of talks about how his powers are unreliable without the sun, which is really weird considering, he's only had his powers for what, 5 days, and he kind of knows them already. But yeah.
Because he's smart.
Some people are more comfortable with guns. So yeah.
I don't blame him.
And then it cuts to basically Quentin, Phoebe, and 2 Harrises in the front, which I think is very important because...
rude.
Yeah. But yeah, when I was watching this like little segment of them, like Quentin and Phoebe talking, I just started thinking like, she's gone full dark. Do you remember when we were talking about Dark Matters and you were talking about how she seems to get joy from, causing the lights to go out in the hall? And I was like, no, it's just pranking, she's laughing along with it. But I kind of see it now because she's like just straight up, I can't wait to kill this bitch. And Quentin, yeah, right? And
Quentin's like, she's just a little younger than you. What? Who hurt you, Phoebe? Who hurt you?
I know. And obviously, like, Quentin is still on the fence. Like, we've kind of seen that from the beginning.
He just wants to be with his baby sister.
The thing that I started thinking about I don't have a brother or a sister, but I've got friends who I've known for a long time who I consider like brothers and sisters. And as you grow up, you kind of grow apart, but you kind of remember to a more innocent, younger time. And that's kind of what brings some friends back together. Or like, when you see someone from your past and you had so many good times, and then you realize when you meet up like 10 years later, you realize you're completely different.
Hmm.
Kind of what's happening with Phoebe and Quentin. Like, she's gone off to college, got this new life, and she's changed. She's different. I'm not talking about her powers, but like just in general, she's changed. She's completely different. And he just wants his little baby sister back who was making shadow puppets. He doesn't want this new angry sister. And
Emo.
yeah, and I think that's where their relationship is. And I think it's a really good dynamic because, even though we've only known Phoebe in this current form for what 4 or 5 episodes, there's still there's two very distinct characters, and I can see why Quentin is like just wanting his baby sister back, because I want original Dark Matter's Phoebe back. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's basically all I had to talk about. I really enjoyed that little bit between them. And when Harris is looking through the epic glasses, you can see Phoebe like she's like biting her finger, and she's like tapping her fingers on the window, and it just seems like she's tweaking for a fight. Like she's just, I want to beat some bitch up, and that's basically what it feels like, and I really like it. So yeah,
They kind of collide.
yeah, they get caught, and instead of running over 3 people and walking towards you in a car, you decide to run out into a cornfield because
Nothing good ever happens in a cornfield. Sorry, Kansas. Sorry, Iowa. Nothing
Sorry,
good ever happens.
sorry, Heroes Season 3, Fugitives. And I just realized how much the powers were out in full force this episode. Everyone was using their power like pretty much as they could. And I really appreciated that fact because, we've had a lot of like, not lane powers, but, super strength and stuff like that, which,
Where's those yellow footprints at?
well, yeah, exactly. But we've got full on dark mode. We've got Melina using the wind. We've got like fireballs. We've got Miko's glitching. Everyone was using their powers to like the full at this, and yeah, I quite appreciate it. And then Luke and Melina figure out who Phoebe is, obviously through Farah and the summit, and then obviously Luke, being the HRG Sila, is the overprotection of the blonde girl, making her run away, and Melina is obviously Claire's daughter because she starts and then she says, no, I'm gonna go back and help him because she's stubborn like
Be
her mum.
useless.
Yeah. And and Phoebe is just bothered by her brother, like he's just there like gnawing at her with like little like Jack Russell kind of comments, and she's just like, can you just shut up please?
I know.
And then we have the collision where they all meet and everyone explains how they know each other in a really quite good way. Quentin knows Luke because he shot at him. He says, you shot at me. And he's like, my wife wanted to kill you. Second chances, mate, and all that kind of do. And Quentin's worried about Bennett. So, maybe.
Aww.
HRQ back.
Never.
And you see Quentin, like Phoebe's willing to die for the cause, and Quentin's just like, no, I don't want to die. I don't want my
I'm
sister.
good. I'll tell you.
Yeah. Take us to a barn and have Melina try and interrogate us really badly.
Oh, no, wait. It was really funny because I was watching this episode with my boyfriend before the commercial break where it's like Phoebe and Melina's getting ready to use this power. She's like, wait, isn't Phoebe supposed to like block all these powers? I was like, I guarantee you when we come back from the commercial, that's what they'll show. And sure enough. But
Yeah.
Heroes ain't just going to be that blatant and cannon breaking right now.
But yeah, they're at the barn and she's like, where's my brother? Where's my brother? You know where my brother is. And that's all she says. And like, the both of them are just
bad at interrogation.
both of them are just looking like, okay, yeah, we're gonna tell you because you've asked us.
I'm gonna make a bunch of butterflies swarm around you for bees. Are you allergic to bees?
And yeah, Phoebe's just blatantly showing no remorse about when Luke brings up Odessa. She's just like, she's got the snark on her face, and Quentin's kind of justifying it like, my sister was the gun, like, but Erica was the one who shot the gun, so blame her. And they get the information, and Luke's about to kill Phoebe, and Melina just stops it because obviously she knows where, like, the kind of dark path that he's been down, and she knows that it's kind of like a drug, he's gonna tweak once he does it again, and she doesn't want him to kind of do it, I guess. we find out Gateway is actually in Odessa. So Gateway and Midian are two different places. And then I started thinking, if Gateway is in Odessa, what else is in Odessa?
Corey, everything.
What high school is in Odessa?
Yeah.
And wasn't there a clock in Odessa High?
Yeah. We already talked about this.
Did we?
Maybe not that whole thing, but we already kind of talked about how they had shot at the Union Wells High School and everything.
Yeah, but there's a clock. There was a clock there, so maybe we'll be seeing
that good old Isaac Mendez painting.
Exactly, and so they're basically pointed in the way of Odessa. They've already killed one of the Harris clones, and a fourth, the other one from the car, makes his way through the cornfield, and it just disappears. I just thought it was good to bring up because obviously, he's not just appearing out of nowhere. There was a second clone in the car. So you
got to pay attention, people.
Exactly. Like me, who watched it 3 times.
Really?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. So I really found myself enjoying this episode a lot more than I think I should have. So what have we got left?
Tommy, Erica.
So Miko's shorting out in the future. Like I said in the last one, they were going to teleport just to another part of the future. Tommy's mum told him about the comics telling him his future. He opens it up and obviously the last couple of pages are missing.
Classic.
Yeah, it sends her off on her journey. And then this is what I kind of started thinking about, why Miko has started to short out. Her initial mission was to find the Master of Time and Space. And it wasn't Hero, it was Tommy. And once she did that, that's why her powers started shorting out. Like, she found Hero, and then that's how she got teleported to the future, because she had to find Tommy, who was going to end up there. And he's the new Master of Time and Space. So she saved him, and that's why she started to short out. And then he gave her a new mission, which was kill Harris. And that's why she disappeared. Is your mind blown? Yeah, it is.
Okay. just convenient plot points or
Okay, fine.
But you try so hard to stand up for the show, and that's why I love you, Ricky. You really do. You do your best. You really do.
Pat on the back for that. I really did. But anyway.
You want a biscuit? Have a biscuit, Potter.
Construct loves Ren. I put as a note, and Tommy ends up sending her back to the present. And then we get Hachiro and Erica. Hachiro is rebuilding the Eternal Fortress. Erica mentions the power of persuasion, and we talk.
Like, you're not Eden, and you're not even Jamie and Peak at this point.
Oh God, that was bad. But
right.
But anyway, we'll get more into that as we go along. And Hachiro says that constructs are single-minded. That is why she ended up. She just keeps on turning up. And then we go to Midian Gateway. I like the fact that they've created the same at the present and the future, because she says it will allow people to accept the difference, and she talks about finding the best and the brightest for the future, which kind of sounds a bit Nazi-like, maybe.
It's 2012. They're building arcs.
She says sometimes you have to deceive people for your own good, and they're tracking genomes for a quote-unquote healthy population.
Eugenics!
Tommy meets up with his mom and Emily, who have been transported from a burning Carbondale, and Brad is still there. So Brad is dead because Carbondale
Goodbye, Jake Manley!
And Emily says, guess we owe our lives to Miss Cravid. And that just set the alarm bells going, because I was like, oh, she's a traitor still. She's going to be a bad girl. But yeah, it might be a bit too late for that.
Dude, it's something about those doe eyes that I don't trust either, Ricky.
And then we realise how she's going to transport everyone to the future, which is Apple Watches.
Aw, now I'm kind of sad I'm an Android person.
But I did think of something when he sat into that seat, which he shouldn't have done. Duh. But anyway, he says that the seat would amplify his powers. That's all I've got to say to you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Ando's dead!
No, Ando's plugged into the machine.
He did. They harvested it. He's dead.
No, he's plugged into the machine somewhere.
The only acceptable reason why he hasn't shown up to see what the hell's going on with Hero. He's got to be dead.
He's going to be back in maybe season 2.
The graphic novel continuation of Heroes Reborn.
Exactly. Now everyone knows Erica's secret. And I like the end bit where, she talks to Joanne and says that she covered up their work, quote unquote work, And because that was one of the questions, like why would Mohinder, like, even like scapegoating, but why would Mohinder take credit for killing
Killing other
Evos?
Evos. Yeah,
So
exactly.
Joanne quickly broaches the subject of you're the one who brought on
So
June
let me
13th.
kill you. That would have been better.
Yeah, exactly. But she was like, no, 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 it was Evos. Also, I'm a mom. And
A terrible mother. So they have that in
I
common.
know. Joanne was like, so I was a mom once. And then she's given her final mission, which is kill Melina.
And Luke is a bonus.
Why not? So yeah, and then it ends with everyone heading to Odessa, and it seems like we're going to get people arriving at different times because Luke was closest, followed up by the Truthers, followed up by Parkman.
Bring it up the rear.
I know, right? As per usual, you know.
It's gonna
But
be like Rat Race.
slowly but surely, he's just like the tortoise, and Luke is the hare. And yeah, and then what? I think the first flare, or maybe the like both of them, make their way towards the Earth.
I know why there's two. Melina's gonna stop the first one, and then they're gonna need Tommy and Melina to stop the second one. He's gonna teleport it somewhere.
Good theory. Or
She's gonna navigate it. He's gonna teleport it, and then Luke's just gonna do full on Human Torch and fly up towards the
exactly.
next one, and he just dies in a blaze of glory. Please.
Or Luke is the second solar flare.
Ooh, yes, I love it. We get a real exploding man this time.
And he's the reason for the world being destroyed. And Joanne kills him, and she's been the goodie the whole time. Oh, there it
No,
is.
she shoots him, and that's what causes him to go off.
Destroy the world.
It's her fault because she's a woman.
I want Joanne to be redeemed at this point. But yeah, that was it. I saw a lot of Harris hate on the tweets. Everyone was glad he was dead. I wasn't. I hate you, all you people who think he should have died. So yeah.
I mean, he's a henchman at the end of the day, so he did need to die. But I love Clay, so it was a kind of a bittersweet thing. But there does have to be stakes. People do have to die, and technically he was a bad guy. But I will say Harris was one of the best things about Heroes Reborn since Dark Matters.
Definitely. And that's basically the episode.
Okay, I have a theory. I think Company Woman is about Joanne and not Erica.
I think it is about both of them, but it's not going to be a flashback. I don't think we're going to learn anything about Erica's motivations. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I could see it going that way. I think it's too late. We've had our flashback episode, kind of, two of them, no less, kind of, sort of, so we're good on flashbacks.
So yeah, the only other theories I had was obviously I've talked about, which is freeing the Master of Time and Space and / Miko. That was her job to free Tommy. They're rebuilding the fortress to obviously hold Tommy. Erica, quote unquote, powers of persuasion. Maybe, maybe not. Probably not.
No, she's a human.
Matt's voice on the tape, is that what's controlling them? And power amplifier, cap locks, Ando. So yeah, what else do we have? Easter eggs. We have the camouflage shirt, which is Melina's way of remembering Farah, which I kind of liked. The Ninth Wonders comic making a comeback with Isaac in the back. Heroes is mentioned by Tommy, or at least his father is.
Oh my god, hold on, stop. Okay, Tommy should have asked Emily to translate while he was... damn it.
She just likes Paris, France. She doesn't speak. Oh no, she's in
the French club, dude.
Oh, yeah.
She's evil. That's the proof.
Carlos talks about his grandfather refusing to take a bribe to throw a match, which is in Heroes Vengeance 4, which I have read and I will talk about because it doesn't happen. So yeah, canon. Easter egg is Janice leaving Parkman again, Parkman's self-loathing again, and Parkman's family being on quote-unquote the list.
Heroes Reborn? More like Heroes Rehash. Am I right?
Epic is still in use. Genomes are being tracked, which I think was a thing in Heroes Prime, right?
Yep, that's what originally kicked off Papa Suresh's research.
Yep. Or the line, now it's game over, which obviously...
Ha, hardy ha ha.
What did you think about some of the lines? Because I think some of them were fairly cheesy, but
intentionally cheesy. Though.
Yeah. But like, what did you feel? How, like, I've seen a lot of people talking about you can't block a Glock. What did you think of that?
That was awful. That was not intentional. That was awful.
But I did like now it's game over because it had that kind of final samurai fight feel between them. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, all you were missing was the Indian music playing in the back. Oriental music playing in the background, you know, when they were fighting.
No, it's Indian music. When in doubt, use the Indian music.
And the final Easter egg, it was a shapeshifter. World building, There is severe, unpredictable weather, as you heard on one of the newscasts, and a powerful electrical storm causing fires to break out in Carbondale. In 2 days, the Healy will arrive. You know, it's weird thinking about that because it's been, what, 5 days? The past 10 episodes, or at least, what, 8 episodes have been 5 days worth of time passing, right?
Something like that. It's kind of crazy how much can happen, but it's
Yep.
I think that's also why it's really fun to use an ensemble cast. That way you
Yeah.
can just keep changing perspectives and still have it be the same day. You know.
Mm. Maybe Heroes Reborn will be like a completely other side of the world with like Europeans trying to stop the world from being destroyed, and it'll be the same 5 days.
You guys had your chance. It was called Misfits.
Well, you guys are gonna, bite the bullet first, so I think we win out on that. We got another like 10 minutes of living after you guys, so yeah. And
So
finally,
legit.
finally, bottled water and survival food packs and stuff are running out because obviously people are panic buying. Okay, so the biggest burning question I have is how did the construct get to the future? I'm still trying to wonder that. I
It's
don't.
it's another back door, is
Yeah,
how I would probably put it.
yeah, maybe, yeah. But then also, what is the time frame on this Cadillac commercial compared to the rest of it? Because the last time we saw Joanne, she was getting picked up by Clay or
One of
Harris.
the clones.
Yeah. And the next time we see her, she seems like she's already out on a mission to destroy.
And why are they doing missions? I mean, the world's ending
Yeah.
in a couple of days. Who cares?
So this must be before, right? This has got to be before, like, this has got to be like a solo mission she did without Luke. That's what I'm going to take from it.
Yeah,
And
that's
how,
what I
how
took.
disappointing was it?
She just got sent away. I was just
Yeah,
like,
she's, yeah. Is that it?
what?
Okay, well done.
The power of
Um,
Cadillacs will protect you from ladies
exactly.
from ladies who will do you harm. I think that's what the point of that commercial was.
Oh, it's better than the Nissan Versa. Anyway, so
Never.
review. It's been a while since we've done a review. So,
I know. The review. Let's
what do we
see.
start off with?
Best character.
Who's your favorite character? Who's your best character of the episode?
I'm gonna go with Katana Girl.
She gets a nice little arc and closure to her arc, I guess. So yeah, I'll go with her as well.
Because Real Miko's still alive in the future, so
Yeah,
Construct's Katana Girl is she got a really good ending. So I like.
but then what happens when Ren saves Miko? Does she know everything, or does he have to Does she have to fall in love with him again?
I think she knows everything magically. I think
Okay,
everybody's getting a happy ending who deserves one.
better choice of words.
Oh
Anyway, moving on. Who is your favorite?
no! Wait, you gotta answer. You gotta pick
I
somebody.
said I said Miko as well.
Oh come on, who else? You can say Pony McGinty if you want to.
Yeah, I loved
Stick
him.
it to those people, Ricky.
How dare you hate Cloney McGinty? No, yeah, I really enjoyed him. I thought he had he's someone who's in every goddamn scene. And the fact that people hate him, I just don't understand because he's one of those good bad guys. Think about, you never think about the henchmen like they do in Austin Powers. So yeah,
Character interaction.
yes, I'm going to go with the Fradies again, as per usual, because just when my mind exploded with that kind of theory I had of them, the kind of wanting to go back to your innocent little sister. How about you?
Taylor and Matt for the win.
Oh,
I enjoyed those scenes together. I like a good semi evil Matt Parkman. I do. It makes sense.
oh my God! I've just had the best theory, and it's so stupid. It's gonna happen.
Oh no! What?
He's gonna mind merge with the baby.
No.
Yes, in the womb, and he's gonna start again.
So gross. So gross. It might happen. Because let's violate a pregnant woman that way.
Well, he's already violated her mind.
Exactly. Might as well do the body.
So yeah, that's disgusting. But anyway, what else? I do actually have a favorite line. I pulled one out. Yes, Harris. Erica made no. Sorry, I'm not going to do the voice. Erica made her wishes clear as crystal. Terminate with extreme prejudice. Quentin. I'm not really sure how you can terminate someone with mild prejudice. There we go.
Classic Quentin. I like the opening monologue because it's very similar to something they did in the Fugitives volume.
Yeah.
And I also like that it's kind of this subtle thing about like global warming and stuff. The
Yeah.
planet is changing no matter how we deny it.
Yeah.
Who will live? Who will die? And who among us will inherit this brave new world?
We've talked about that, haven't we? We've talked about how the first one was all about kind of terrorism and kind of.
It's in Hurricane
Yeah, yeah.
Katrina.
And now it's just straight up like it's climate change with racism over the top, basically, right? It's just like it's climate change is like the big thing that's going to kill you, but racism, that's the immediate threat. Anyway, grades.
I'm gonna give this one a B+, B as in boy.
Yeah, I'm gonna go straight up B plus as well. I think this is one of the better episodes, and I was really kind of dreading this episode to come back with, but I think it was really well paced. I think it was really well done, and the fact that it was so good without HRG in it, I think, is a testament to how you are kind of starting to grow to like some of these characters, and especially now that Carlos is kind of like a character now.
Not just a plot device.
Yeah. How about you? Why the B plus?
Well, obviously, no HRG is why it's not an A. But I do agree with you that the new cast really held their own without him. I thought it was well paced as well. I thought every interaction was really good. But what brings it down is the dialogue.
Okay, fair enough. So we're going to move on to feedback. There are quite a few, so I will go through them. The first thing is during the week before any of this episode ever happened, we had an email from Bennett Twinnitz, who is the new Lady of Ice's Virtue. She said, "We've seen the children from Robert Bishop, Charles DeVoe, Carlos Mendez, Kato Nakamura, Maury Parkman, Angela and Arthur Petrelli. So all of the company members we've seen on screen except for Daniel Lindemann and Victoria Pratt. Considering Erica's background in science and technology, I'm leaning towards Erica being a child of Victoria's. In the book Save the Cheerleader, Save the World, Angela trusts Erica to take over Primatech and merge it with Renatus completely. We aren't shown what their relationship is prior to this, but given that Primatech has been Angela's main project for years, it's unlikely she would trust anyone to completely take over the company with all access to, her files. It leads me to believe that Erica is maybe someone related to the company prior to. Granted that Primatech shares would go to the only surviving member, there was nothing saying that she couldn't hand it to an heiress of the company. What do you think?"
I like that theory. I don't think it's true, but if the show actually came out and said that would be really awesome because they really did screw the character and the actress who played Victoria over so hard. So I actually would like that to be true. Great theory.
Also, it kind of gives reason to why she doesn't like Evos that much.
They killed her mother.
They killed her mother. Her mother worked with Evos, so she wasn't around a lot. Abandonment issues.
Because that's classic parent issues in here.
Hey, so yeah, we like that theory. So anyway, we'll move on to people's opinions and feedback of the episode. We'll start off with @EnglishIdiot101. Hey Charlie. The newest episode of Heroes Reborn was so good. It was well worth the wait. We got to see what happened at the manor. And I love that we saw Micah again. Miko was awesome as usual, and her and Tommy need more scenes together. I really like Luke and Melina. They are a good team. The only thing missing was Noah. They better have a good next episode with him. The season has been brilliant, and I hope we get a good ending in the last 2 episodes. I think we are going to get a good ending. I've seen a tweet that's gone out by James Middleton where he talks about the final episode needs 325 shots of VFX to be added to them still. So yeah, I think it's going to be very good. It's not going to be that season 1 disappointment of Heroes Prime, I think.
Where they close the door. I don't think they're closing the door on us.
Well, it's a big door. The world can't close the door that big. Anyway, the Nerdy Girl X says, "Matt Parkman makes me so mad. Micah being back is awesome. That fight was epic." Yeah, Matt Parkman is designed to make you mad because he is a bad guy. Since the
beginning. Yeah. No, because he's whiny and self-loathing and the power was inside him all the time. He didn't need the feather.
And you know what? He just gave into it. He just gave into his dark side.
Somebody had to.
Yeah. Next up, we have Phoebe1123, who says, "Erica's face is too expressive. It drove me crazy throughout the entire episode."
Too expressive? Question mark?
I like actors who can act with their face. Farah and Carlos kept wasting time kissing. What do you think about that?
You take it back. You know it was hot, hot, hot.
It's just the way that he introduces Farah to Jose. He's just like, "This is my friend Farah." Yeah. And then just makes out,
yeah, more than friends, okay?
He should have just said, "This is your new mummy." Anyway, because she's my new mummy. I get that you haven't seen each other in a while, but we're in a time crunch. I suppose I understand that, but they were saying goodbye to each other because they might never see each other again. Or, Carlos would die because, if anyone's going to die between them two, it's going to be Carlos. So yeah, FD_Reborn has kind of done like live tweets during and tagged us in them. So I'm just going to go through them. 2 minutes into sending the clones, already remembering why I missed the show so much and love Levi as Luke. Between you and me, I think the mid-season premiere would have been a better mid-season finale than the one we got. Great episode. I actually think they did it well because I think this was a pretty strong premiere, and I don't know what they would have done. Well, it depends on what the next episode's like, but I really do think they're ramping up the episodes as we go on. So yeah.
Well, I will say, as a fan of Heroes Prime, it was great for me, but they did spend a lot of time with the old characters, maybe a little too much time, is maybe what they mean by that.
Oh, fair enough. Okay, so since when did the Haitian blocking a power cause pain? Did Renee's abilities grow, or was it an inconsistency?
No, it's always kind of,
Yeah,
because he says make it hurt, clean them out, and make it hurt. He said
yeah.
that the first time he showed up. Sorry.
But yeah, and also it works on both sides because we've seen Renee having stress on his body when he's trying to stop Arthur Petrelli. So I mentioned the Arthur Petrelli thing. FD Reborn said, it's been so long. I'll get there though. They finally rewatched season 1 and they're moving on to season 2. But they meant, does it cause Parkman pain? I thought Renee could just block power and erase memory only. But yeah, you're right. It does cause it can cause the other person pain. Talking about Matt says, stop being a bad guy. No me gusta, bad Parkman. Wow, Parkman got so low to use a pregnant girl as a bargaining chip. Why, Matt? Pretty cool seeing Parkman dust those 2 clones though. This episode is awesome. And I said, why the Harris hate on Twitter? And FD_Reborn again said, agree, I do like Harris, but I also hate him because he's a villain and we're supposed to, LOL. He can be funny though. So yeah.
Well, then he's done his job.
Yeah. Next up, we've got Danny_Vaughan, whose birthday it was on the premiere, so it's a bit late, but happy birthday.
Happy birthday!
It was great. I still don't trust Erica. Katana Girl was awesome, and I don't want the series to end. It's kind of understandable you wouldn't trust Erica. She's the bad girl.
Read the comic books if you don't want the series to end.
Definitely. At Silver Mooney says, I can't even imagine how Tommy and Melina are going to save the world. Thinking Erica's plan might be the only way. Also, they keep fighting Erica. How do they know that Tommy working with her isn't the way that they're supposed to save the world? It's a good point.
Because she's being so damn selective and evil that it can't be the right way?
You would say that because you'd be left behind. I would be
Erica, first of all.
I don't know. I'll move on. At Barry Media said, I think it was a terrific episode, and my favourite part was the beheading of Harris. How very dare you, Barry Media. What did you think about the way that they, she killed him initially with the stabbing herself through the chest?
Sacrifice. A hero must make sacrifices. It was very hero-esque, as in HIRO.
At BB8 and Ray, who is the new copy of Clara, said, amazing episode tonight. I loved it so much. So happy it's back from the break. Love Tommy's and Miko scene. Miko versus Harris Prime was amazing. Parkman is still pissing me off. Glad they rescued Micah. Everyone else is off to Odessa. The last scene with the sun flare was amazing. Gave me goosebumps. I really like the fact that, the kind of big bad is nature. Because you can't stop nature, right?
Well, you can if you're Melina. Captain Planet. I told you, that's what they should have named it.
Next up, at Eva Mende9 said, what an amazing show. Where do I start? From the beginning, it started out great. I was glued to the TV for the whole hour, including the commercials. Really? That show is very powerful and deep. Even the viewers can learn life lessons from the show. I really enjoyed seeing Katana Girl kick ass. She is so brave. I'm so glad Micah is back. I don't want the show to end. Just amazing. Please keep the show on the air.
If it was up to us, we would. Trust me.
Yeah.
We should start a Kickstarter in case it does get canceled, and then we could just act out our fanfic.
You can buy the rights and then and then sell it to 5-star over here. T. Bless Stanley gave me like half a page. This is so good. So I will destroy this because I will be reading this for the first time. So, okay, I'm not sure if it was the hiatus or just the episode itself, but I really enjoyed the episode. I just realised Noah Bennett wasn't even in. There was still plenty of action and one-liners to make up for his absence. Luke stepped up big in this episode, saving Melina and capturing the evil Frady cats. He hashtagged that as well, I like it. Plus his lines were amazing. Apart from, you can't block a Glock. That was me talking. Anyway, Zach was channeling his inner Jack Coleman and did well. What did you think? Did you think he was on a par with the Coleman?
Nobody is on par with Jack Coleman. Don't take offense to that.
Yeah.
Everybody knows he's the true star, but he did hold his own. And like I said, I thought it was really smart of them to kind of just suddenly phase him out. And it took me till the end of the episode to realize, hey, we didn't have Papa Bennett in it,
I
and
know.
it was still a good episode. So I totally can see what he's saying.
Nathan was, well, just being Tommy.
That's such a good way to put it.
I really did like the way that he fangirled out at Katana Girl as well. But yeah, I did enjoy his bit about Miko saying something, but it was all Japanese, so that's how, he got them to, leave him alone. But like he doesn't know the native language of his adopted father, Hero. Oh yeah, I completely forgot about that.
They were talking in. Well, he got his memories wiped though,
I suppose.
because they did speak in Japanese originally when we got the reveal.
Yeah. I laughed so much at that line. I also liked how he followed his namesake in his double agent doings and how he got caught like his namesake. Are we talking about Nathan? Yeah, we are talking about Nathan. I was shocked that we lost 3 Evos this episode. Father Maurizio, Miko, she's not really an Evo, she's more of a construct, and MF My Fault Harris.
My fault. Oh my god.
I love
That's
it.
funny.
Katana Girl FTW.
Yep.
Is hoping the real Miko recovers so she and Ren can have a happy reunion. You see that? It's a good phrasing there.
Oh my god, it just dawned on me.
What?
She's not really Hichiro's construct. She might be like a thought from the original Miko or something, and then he took that out of her, so she won't have to remember. So she will remember Ren when she wakes up. He has to kiss her to wake her up. Yep, we're going there.
I like the way that you think about all these things.
I want a happy ending for those two most of all. You don't even know.
Happy reunion, happy reunion. I'm still on Stanley's. He says, I was a little disappointed there was no Yatar after she defeated Harris. It wouldn't have been too much. Also, I wonder what Quentin knows about Noah's role in stopping the double flare. He did seem awfully interested in him. True friendships survive time travel. So much happened in this episode that I forgot about Sunstone Manor. Matt went from bad to Caplops bad, BA, and desperate. I'm thinking that's badass. Yeah, anyway, that was really good. I like that. There's more, but I feel I've already typed an essay. Overall, borderline B+/A-. Keep it up and end it on a high note. Heroes Reborn. Go out like a phoenix.
Like-minded listener. Awesome.
Yeah, I liked it. Cool. Next we have soft_guitar60 who says, I think Luke's going to kill Joanne. Please do, because I can't stand her.
I agree.
Talon Root on Facebook said, finally, they are somewhat showing how powerful Parkman is. I'm curious to see if he will remain on the side of Renatus or if his inner good will finally cause him to be the hero we know and love. Parkman for president. No. They don't want that. They want you to hate him. Anyway, Chris Kirkman says, I have a feeling things could get pretty interesting if Erica and he come face to face. And then I said that basically in the same message, I said I had a really big theory about the Frady cats, and he responded with, it does seem as though Phoebe has embraced being a murderous psychopath. This is far from the kind, sweet, innocent girl we were introduced to in the prequels, or even Phoebe of a year ago, who was manipulated into using her powers out of love for her brother. It seems strange how distant and adversarial and dark their relationship has become, because as we've seen, there are consequences for embracing the dark side. Dun, 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 dun. But yeah, I've already talked about that, so it seems like you do agree. So yeah, let me know what you think about my
observation.
Yes. Anyway, last up we have two sides, one coin, who says Parkman's rogue, Bennett's AWOL, Q doesn't seem fully committed, and Tommy's a sort of double agent. The truth will come out. The real Harris is gone, so is Miko. Erica recruited Psycho Bitch, and Healy's out, guns out. The double agent jab comes from Erica's line about after learning of Miko, he's playing both sides. And then I mentioned that I thought she was talking about Hachiro at that point. And he said, either way, it seems she's under the impression that Tommy has been lying to her like he did about Miko's actions. Who do you think she was talking about when she said,
Tommy all the way.
Fair enough. I like the way that you sided with our listener and not me.
Sorry, that's how you asked me how I felt.
I thought you would say me. Anyway, the way I see it, Q isn't as committed as Phoebe is. He seemed reluctant to shoot Melina, and also the last time he had reservations about capturing Tommy. What I think is that Q needs to stand up for himself. Well, I think Luke has definitely begun to redeem himself. He said it best, gotta love second chances. So Micah apparently found footage of Erica coaching fake Mahinda on what to do and what to say and how to say it. So before we go on to the finishing up, we'll talk about. I just went through the Heroes Vengeance 4, which I bought. It was out last week, so I'll go through it really quickly. Do you know what we should do? We should try and get Marco Grazzini on the line and get him to read the comic as Oscar, and we do the other parts. Right? I think that would be great. Anyway, Heroes Vengeance 4 starts off with asking the question of, what drives people? Money, greed, faith. And it's kind of intersped with the grandfather's final fight, intersped with Carlos returning from Afghanistan. Carlos survived, and he calls it a godsend. Yuck, yuck, yuck. There's a slight argument between the brothers about him going to war and, him wanting him to stay because he was always a better mechanic. And Carlos thinks that Oscar is implying that he's lying about what happened, which, it's fair enough because
he is a big fat liar.
Yeah, but he's going to be sensitive about that, isn't he? So he walks off, and that is intersped with his grandfather losing. But it seems at one point that his grandfather is going to win. So yeah, that's the kind of bit that I was confused about, because before basically his grandfather is fighting and he's been asked to throw the match. So
you know what just dawned on me?
What?
They're basically Daredevil.
Yeah. Well, we've kind of gone there with Batman.
No, because his dad was a boxer who wouldn't throw a fight, and then they basically.
But then we could say he was Spider-Man because he's dressing up as a wrestler.
It's all the Marvel characters.
So yeah, it's just really weird because in this episode of the Heroes Reborn, he says that his grandfather refused to do it and got his legs broken, but in this one, his grandfather did do it. So people weren't talking to each other.
They got a wrong script draft.
Exactly. Then we go back into the present day where Pelon is making his name. He made his name through surviving the El Vengador attack, and Pelon is working with Deering. We see Deering. Carlos comes face to face with his grandfather. This is in the past after he gets beaten and is revealed to be El Vengador, and he's just too young to understand that his grandfather did a dive. He still thinks of his grandfather as a hero. And then his grandfather says, sometimes being a hero means knowing when to surrender, which I don't know if that's going to play a big part in the next couple of episodes. But yeah, we go back to the future. Deering is taking his latest haul of people to Sunstone, and El Vengador runs Pelon out again by just basically telling him he has to go away, otherwise he'll kill him this time. And then it finishes with him giving Father Maurizio, a call to save some souls. So yes.
Awesome. So what would you grade it?
I really quite enjoyed it. I'd go with a B. I think they're getting better as they go along, and the way that they interspeed everything together is really good. I really enjoy it now. But I'm more looking forward to Godsend though. So yeah. Anyway, if you want to check out more of Lilith's thoughts, because I've hogged this, you can go to ET Canada and check her out talking to Graham. I'll leave a link in the show notes. We also are going to run a competition, which I put up on the Twitter. Basically, leave us a rate and a review with your Twitter name, and you will get the graphic novel series of Heroes Volume 1 and the first comic of Heroes Vengeance. So yeah, you can have until the Heroes finale. Yeah, we'll do it a week after the finale, and we'll draw the name at random. So yeah.
Can I throw in a digital copy of Saving Charlie?
Yeah, why not? You'll get Saving Charlie as well. Why not? Cool. We're going to be talking about some spoilery type of stuff, so it's going to be the trailer, Inside the Eclipse. There's the synopsis for Company Woman, and some pictures have been released. They're all going to be in the show notes. If you want to look at them, you can. They're a bit spoilery, and we're going to do a bit of theory crafting. So if you want to carry on listening and be spoiled or semi-spoiled, then carry on. If you don't want to be, then you can just fast forward to the end and get our wrap up. So yeah. Anyway, so the trailer. It starts off with Tommy, basically. He says he wants to save as many people as possible. And at the end, his mum telling him, when the time comes, you'll know what to do. Which is really weird. Will you know what to do? Would you know what to do when the time comes?
No, that's been a little bit.
Okay. There are some scenes which are quickly flicked upon. One is a school, which looks to be Union Wells. Someone pushing Melina out the way. He seems to be a bit ginger. So, take with that what you will. There's a car crash with Parkman in it. Anne Clark seems to be in the future. Or maybe she's just against some kind of grainy background or whatnot. And Tommy teleporting out of either Midian or Gateway. So, yeah. I guess those are going to be over the next couple of episodes and not just next week's. We'll move on to Inside the Eclipse. They talk about episodes 11, 12, and 13 being the final chapter and everyone getting their kind of final missions. Kiki talks about loving playing a badass and Clay not having any action experience. She says it's going to be the last time we're going to see Katana Girl, and it's also goodbyes for Clay, Katana Girl, and Father Maurizio. So, I will play some Charlie Puth over this. Anyway, they talk about Phoebe's journey and her innocence to darkness, and is she kind of a redeemable character at this point? Quentin realizing he can't control someone else's life. Luke and Phoebe, they're connected via, the death of his son, and, they're both essentially mass murderers or murderers. Luke compares her power to being consuming of her, whereas he's let it kind of do for good, I guess. And Melina thinks Luke is a better person, or at least trying to be a better person. That's why she doesn't want him to kill Phoebe. It will bring him down that bad path again. One of the writers talks about Parkman having possibly the worst power. Hearing everyone's thought is probably the worst thing you can ever have. Eve compares it to violating of someone's mind. And Greg, even to this day, is still talking about how he wants people to pull for him and think about the reasons why he's doing what he's doing. Yeah. What do you think? Do you think you could you can root for evil Greg or evil Park?
Definitely. I will always root for Parkman no matter what. I totally understand the character's motivations, and at least it makes sense.
Fair enough. I just see a lot of people just like not seeing that at all. They're just like, how dare you, Parkman? You're such a bastard.
Well, I can understand them wanting redemption because Parkman was the everyday man that got kicked around and played down a lot. So I can understand where that's coming from too. But for me, I think that Greg is having a lot of fun playing this
Definitely,
Parkman, and it shows.
Tommy is at a crossroads. He doesn't know whether to believe Erica or believe his destiny. Erica has been aware of Joanne and Luke from the beginning and using Luke and Joanne to build hatred towards Evos, making them seem more villainous and kind of taking the pressure off her. And Greg finishes it off with saying that there's a big bad ending and only the strong will survive, he said, pointing at himself. So yeah, maybe he's the only one to survive.
That would be funny.
It's just him. And he sees a Sutu in the desert in the future and is just left.
In a turtle.
Yeah. And we just go back to there. So yeah, we'll move on to Company Woman. We have in big, bold, capital letters, Erica Kravid's haunting past is revealed as extinction of humanity looms closer. So yeah, it seems we are getting some of her past. And now it says, with the end of civilization quickly approaching, Erica sets her startling survival plan into motion with help from Tommy. Melina races to unite with Tommy and is joined by Luke, while Quentin and Phoebe plot against them. Meanwhile, Matt Parkman has plans of his own to ensure safety of his family that might put Taylor in mortal danger.
That sounds
No, I think it's going to be good because there are pictures up on Spoiler TV. So if you want to go check them out, leaving them again in the show notes. There is Union Wells in the background, like literally a big like crest of Union Wells. They're in like a hall, which kind of made me think like if everyone's heading to Odessa and there's all these storms and stuff coming, it makes sense that they would go somewhere to be like a quote unquote storm shelter. So it seems that's where everyone is kind of heading to. So that's what made me think of the clock tower. And it seems like it's Luke versus Joanne with all these people around them. It seems like Quentin is saving Melina, like he's pushing her down, maybe from a gunshot or something. And we have Emily running to Tommy. I don't know whether that's in the present or the future. And Ren and Emily are teaming up. They're going down the kind of the corridors where the time machine or the machine is, where they found Hero for the first time. And Taylor and Erica are in those corridors as well. But again, I don't know whether it's in the future or in present day because, they kind of kept them exactly the same. So yeah, check them out. Let us know your theories.
Looks like it's time for some shameless plugs and self-promotion. We'll start with the show contact info. We here at Primatech Files love listener feedback. If you would like to get a hold of us, we have a ton of ways. You can email us via primatechfiles@gmail.com. You can leave us a private message or interact with our posts over on facebook.com/primatechfiles. We live tweet 2 episodes per week every Saturday starting at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. For more information, be sure to follow us on Twitter at primatechfiles. You can also find us on Clamor, Tumblr, and YouTube by simply searching for Primatech Files. If you enjoy this podcast, be sure to rate, review, and subscribe to us on iTunes. What's that? You don't have an iTunes account? That's okay. We're on a lot of podcatcher services such as Stitcher and SoundCloud. All you have to do is search for, you guessed it, Primatech Files. We're also on Libsyn. And if you want to follow our RSS feed there, all you have to do is go to primatechfiles.libsyn.com and bookmark the site to stay up to date with this podcast. Libsyn is spelled Libsyn, just in case you were wondering. We look forward to interacting with you.
If you love our podcast, be sure to check out Southgate Media Group's iTunes provider page to see a list of what other podcasts are hot and trending in our network. Or you can take that one step further and visit southgatemediagroup.com, where you can find a full list of our 80 plus podcasts, along with weekly blogs and information about all the hosts. With so many podcasts that cover everything from anime to wrestling, there's sure to be tons of podcasts that could interest you.
Hey guys, you should know by now that you can find me on Twitter at Lilith Hellfire. If you have a Tumblr, be sure to check out it's lilithhellfire.tumblr.com. And of course, be sure to swing by my blog if you are a pop culture junkie or comic book geek at littlepopculturevulture.blogspot.com. I also host several other podcasts on the Southgate Media Group network. Some of them are The Flashpoint, Queen Consolidated, and Channel 52. So if you are into, obviously, DC comic book related stuff, be sure to check it out.
You can find my writings at tvbinges.com. It's a place for all your binge watching needs, and you can also create your own TV binge and we'll help promote it. We do a monthly binge watch, which you're more than welcome to join in. Just go to their Twitter at tvbinges just to find out more information. You can find me on Twitter at RickyJDiaz. That's RICKYJDIAZ, or Z if you're American.
Well, that wraps it up for us here on Rebellion Reborn / Primatech Files. We hope you've enjoyed this long, thorough analysis of our favorite show. Just want to remind you guys to reach out to us on social media and keep sending in those emails. You know how much we love that listener feedback. Looking forward to it.
Also remember to join our competition and leave a rate and review on iTunes for us. Again, the winner will be chosen at random a week or two after the Heroes finale. So yes, you've got time, Lilith.
Oh, I get to do it?
Yes.
Keep the rebellion alive.